Hi there, Lee6 here. Going to be trying something a little different today. I'm going to be doing a PB analysis of Piper J3 Cub's new second place 1041. That time may of course change as you will see in the run, but without that out of the way, let's get started. I have watched the run once to see what happened, but so I have a general idea of what's going to happen, but I haven't really looked deeply in everything yet. Okay, first thing we can see as soon as he spawns, it doesn't look great. For most runners, especially runners like Ninja Brain and JoJo who have multi-instant setups, it'd probably be an instant reset. Because it just looks like a forest, there's not a coast in sight, and there doesn't look like to be a village or a lava pool nearby. But he runs a bit to his forest clearing, and he spawns a rune portal. He also sees a spruce village in the corner, and lava pool. Opens the chest. Sees, I think it's 14 iron nuggets, a few gold nuggets, a golden apple, 2 obsidian, and what makes this run really good, looting 3 sort. He sees that the portal isn't completable without mining a crying obby, which the best way to do that would be to get a gold pickaxe at this gold block, but for that he need an iron pickaxe, so he decides to head to the village. Decides to pick up a few beds in case he gets rolled in the bastion. And he decides to mine logs here. I did load up the seed, and there was a spruce village house in the back, which a chest had logs, which I would, if I was in the situation, I'd probably try and check for. As you just have to skip mining all these logs, which is a time loss. Makes a crafting table, wood axe. A wood pickaxe, actually. So getting a stone axe and shovel. I'd make a wood axe here, because I'd be going for the golem. And I'd make an iron pickaxe, and then I'd make a stone shovel and axe. So skip mining this cobble. Sees the golem. I also think there was a rune portal. No, not a rune portal, a blacksmith somewhere back here, but it only had 2 iron, and he wouldn't, as you can see, he doesn't have a light either, so it wouldn't have really helped. Would have been a time loss empty. He sees some gravel on the hill, so he makes his iron pickaxe and his flint and steel, and he's off to the rune portal. Doesn't have much food, only that gapple, I think. Didn't loot any village chests with which may have bread or anything. Looks like he stops and gets more wood. If he would have just got it back at the village, it would have saved a little bit of time. Decides to get 8 logs for a boat. He got a little too much, because when you front load logs, you're not doing it really for wood. You're more so doing it for beds, as you can get blocks pretty much anywhere, but it doesn't hurt too much. So he gets his gold here, and he makes the gold pickaxe. Takes him a second, as well as the gold helmet. Pretty much what any runner would do. So yeah, he's played it pretty well so far. Just like a few mistakes, but at a level like this, kind of have to look at those. This is also a big PB jump. He went from a 1705, but he did get a bunch of good blind times before this, like 7xx and 8xx. Completes the portal, lights it. Opens F3 menu. We can't really watch the E count, but we can see it spiking quickly. See his M&C values. Can't really tell what this in the way. It'd be better if it was over here. But just looking at like the spikes, I couldn't really see the numbers. There's probably a bastion. He turns, he sees the fortress, and he sees a few spikes this way, and I think that way as well. Keeps an eye out for a bastion. Grab some more blocks with the gold pick. Kinda what I was saying before, the mining the more logs was sort of a time loss. So he runs down the fortress, basic fortress nav, gets out the looting sword in case he sees a blaze. And he sees the spawner up the staircase. Builds a few blocks to block the blaze fireballs. One hit with the axe, 2 hits with the sword, just like FSG. Takes a lot of damage here, which isn't too good since he only has the gap away thing. It goes with places. He decides to kill one more for 8. Pretty much most runners would do that. Like, some runners would just leave on 6, but usually if there's another blaze right there, especially if looting, to make sure you would get it. No eye breaks and stuff. Hate to lose a run to that. Gets out the gold pick and heads towards where he E-raid. Can't really tell the quality too much, but there is a bastion over here. They sees. Looks like housing. Nav to the bastion has been decent. Stops to kill Hoglin for food, as he has literally nothing else. Does it with the flint steel, ends it off with the looting sword to make sure he gets the max amount. And he's pretty much set for the run with those 7 pork chops. This is basic nav. Decides to grab some more blocks, I guess I wasn't really looking at it, but I guess his gold pick broke. He didn't really need many blocks. He only needed like 5 to 10. So mining some more of those was sort of a time loss. Mine's even more. Don't know why. Maybe just nerves. Starts manhunt route. Pretty much normal manhunt. You can't really say much about it. Doesn't look like he gets many pigs, which is strange. They were just a little late. That's the pussy route for manhunt or top down or basically any housing route where you place a block instead of mining it into there. You have to mine a few extra blocks here. Doesn't really matter. It's a couple times second loss, especially when you're on nerves like this. But he does do the route from there. What some runners will do after they do this, they'll start the hole like over at the normal spot, which is worse obviously because you start your trading a few seconds later, but he knows how to play it, which is good. See that a lot in FSG since you have to make your iron pick inside the bastion most of the time. Standard stuff, making sure the piglins have gold the whole time, keep them trading. And I don't think he opens F3 menu again, but I think he opened it when he was entering the bastion. It was like around 170, which is in the ring, so the blind cord here are fine. So he checks trades, he got pearls, some obsidian. And he decides to blind here, which is what any runner should do. As long as you're in the ring, you're fine. Doesn't look like he got any obsidian. So he has to pretty much... He may have got a couple from the manhunt chest, but he has to roll the rest from trades. But it looks like he gets it fairly quickly, so he can make the rest of his portal. Few mistakes. Not too bad, and he's out. One thing he doesn't get is another string trade. He has enough for 4 beds, but sometimes it's nice to have that security. But when you're on this pace, you just want to go. If you would waited for another string trade, it may not have been sub 11. Throws his first die, 171.8. One thing you'll notice is he's in a swamp, and strongholds try not to spawn in swamps. I don't know exactly why, they just try not to. It's kind of like oceans. If there's within 12 chunks, I think it is, they'll snap. So if you aren't distance estimating, it's good if you're leaving a swamp to throw an eye, because distance estimating in the swamp is hard. One thing you'll see while I was talking about how after a retime it may not be sub 11 is the fact that Piper kind of pace pals himself. Like in the Java chord 1.16 chat, like RSG, he'll like say when he's on a pacer, like, oh my god guys, just got a sub 8 blind. And when you're on pace like this, where it can be sub 13, that's not something you want to do. Because they're gonna time pauses. And I think this pause is more than 10 seconds, so it's gonna go down to 10 seconds, but still. So he gets the first die. I think it was 171.5. And he kind of scuffed, but he throws another eye. 162. Now here I'd be shitting myself, which I think is happening as well. And he pretty much telling everybody in the chat that, holy shit guys, I just hit the blind. I think that's 100 blocks. Yeah. 1000 divided by 10. Yeah, 100 block blind. Can't pretty much ask for better, other than stronghold blind or ocean exposed. So he goes over. Kind of scuffed. He pauses again. But you can't really do too much. It's in a swamp. Here, you should try an 8-8, but it's hard because of that tree. Eye breaks, doesn't really matter. And he throws one more, and he's got it. Little TLN throw, but he pretty much knew it was going to be that chunk. And he has eyes. Despair. One thing he could have done is just made like 11 eyes or 12 eyes. So he had pearls for the end fight, but he doesn't have any now. So he's going to have to run and hopefully get there in time for a perch. Goes 4-4 or around there. 5-3, that's perfectly fine. Throws the fire res, pauses again, and starts his dig down. Hits starter staircase, obviously. Goes straight down middle as you do. Sees its dead end. Checks the secret room. Another dead end. This is something you really like to see. Based on this, I don't think there's any other secret rooms except for this one right here. Or no other pathways even, so you know it's down here. you know you didn't miss it by not going deep enough. He looks around, he sees the library back this way, so he knows it's down middle, and he sees it right here. It's a 2-eye, so once again he could have saved those eyes for the end fight, which would have helped. He spawns in the cage, so he has to dig out. What would have been pretty much impossible to zero cycle, since he doesn't have a gold pig. Sets up his thing. He could have ran a little bit farther before he made his beds to have a higher chance of an insta-perch. But as we're about to see, it doesn't really matter, because he pretty much nails it. Like, can't ask for better, basically. And he only has 4 beds here, but he does have an axe, so he should be fine. As long as he doesn't choke. But on nerves like this, it's hard. He almost gets it. He has to finish it off of axe. A couple seconds lost, but 4 bed axe is not bad. See where pace pauses? I don't know if those are timed or not. They probably are. And that's the end of the run. GG the Piper. I think the best way to put this run is, like, in the words of FE666. He lost a bunch of time. It was a god seed. He had pretty good RG, but he didn't choke, which is a lot of people forget about that. That in runs like these, you're not, a robot isn't playing it, it's a human, and we're prone to emotions and shit like that. So not choking when you roll a looting 3 sword with a fortress and a bastion and RD, that's pretty impressive on its own. And hitting the blind, hitting the nav, like, you can't ask for better with nerves. And this is a huge PB jump. 6 minutes from a 1705 PB. That's insane. Like, I know Piper had some good blinds before this, but they just didn't end up too well. So getting PB jumps like this are possible, but they're not necessarily probable, which is cool to see, because, like, one thing I think is a lot of runners are capable of times like this. They just gotta roll the seed and not choke. And a lot of people don't think that. They think that they got too lucky or something like that, which I think is a really bad way to think about a game like MC. Like, sure, yeah, it's a game of luck, but it's like there's a pretty low skill ceiling for MC. Like, you can get good at crafting, good at bastion routes, good at stronghold nav, all that stuff, but, like, you can only get so good at that stuff. Like, you can, everybody can do, like, do a bastion pretty quickly, or anybody could route a stronghold or triangulate it. What MC is different from for other speed games is it's not really too much a game of skill. It's more so a game of endurance and efficiency in terms of your resets. While yes, you can get lucky and roll a god seed within 100 seeds, it's most likely not going to happen. You need that resets efficiency and endurance Like, you see runners like Ninja Brain and FE666 and JoJo with over 100,000 resets. And you see, like, most of these they get, like, they aren't world record teams. Like, it's, like, a few are possible, but most aren't. And you begin to understand, like, they're skillful players, but FE66 had the world record, Ninja Brain hasn't, JoJo hasn't. Like, they're all capable of world record, but they just haven't rolled a seed with all, without choking and stuff like that. And, like, runners, like we see here with Piper, they were able to do that quicker. And that's a bit of luck, but it's also something to say, like, about their ability on not choking and being able to run a seed. Like, eventually, Ninja Brain, JoJo, and Effie, they'll hit the seed and they'll get their time. But it's just interesting to see, like, who can get it first. Like, see who has the best reset efficiency and stuff like that. Just something interesting to think about. And I know I said it before, but huge congratulations to Piper. And it's really cool to see you get a time like this. GG, man. See y'all.